cross and all it. My sins were washed away, and my night was turned to day. Heaven came down, and glory filled my soul. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful day I will never forget. After I wandered in darkest away, Jesus, my Savior, I met. Oh, what a tender, compassionate friend. He met a need of my heart. Jealous is spelling it joy, telling He made out the darkest evil. Heaven came down and glory filled my soul. When at the cross the Savior made me whole, and with sins washed away, and my name turned to heaven came down and glory filled my soul.
Greetings from all the Engles in Baguio City. The recording that you just heard was made back in 1966, and that's just as far as we got. Now, we're not going to ask Gordon to sing again. I'm not so sure he can sing as well as he did then. But anyway, we recorded that much, and now we've decided to finish up this tape for you at this time. And Gordon is right here. He just heard the tape, and we're going to talk to him a little bit. How are you today, Gordon?
Fine.
And
hey, you're the barber.
Yes, I'm your barber. We just had a haircut a little while ago, didn't we?
And then you gave me some money, and I paid you back.
You paid me back.
And that's the thing. And then you gave me a balloon. That's for good boys.
That's right. You were such a good boy getting your haircut that you got a balloon.
And that's for good boys.
How do you like it in Baguio?
Fine.
What do you like about Baguio?
Hey, look at that. That's a...
What, something on your finger?
Yeah.
Listen, I ask you a question. How do you like Baguio?
Fine.
And what do you like about Baguio?
Fine.
Can you tell the folks anything about Baguio, what we do here?
Yeah.
What do we do in Baguio?
We eat.
We eat? Oh, boy. We eat more in Baguio, don't we?
Yeah, and I ate my gravy.
Yeah, you ate your gravy. You've been eating, and you've been growing. And your muscle, let's see your muscle. How is it? Oh, boy, you got lots of muscle.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of muscles.
Yeah. Tell me, where do you go to Sunday school? Where do you go to Sunday school?
I go in the car and I walk past.
Yeah. Is it at John Hay?
Yeah.
We go to the John Hay Sunday School, don't we?
Yeah.
Camp John Hay.
And my teacher is there, Mrs. Wigington.
Mrs. Wigington is your teacher. Do you remember what your lesson was about last Sunday?
What?
Well, I'm asking you. I wasn't in your Sunday school class. Do you remember about it?
Yeah. She read about God.
Oh, she read about God.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything more about it?
Yeah. Jesus.
She read about Jesus?
Yeah.
Hmm? You like to go to Sunday school, don't you?
Yeah.
We've been having a little... Pardon?
Yeah. Does Satan make me do bad things?
Yeah, Satan's the one that makes you do bad things. But we're glad now you're going to Sunday school.
Why do I have to go there?
Well, you want to learn more about the Lord Jesus.
And about God.
And about God. Well, listen, is there anything more you want to say?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk to the rest of the people in the family.
Something more.
What do you want to say? Anything else you want to say?
Satan.
You've kind of got Satan on the brain, don't you?
Yeah, but I have brains in my head.
Okay, well, we're going to have to close this little talk. And you say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Do you have a little song that you want to sing?
Yeah, heaven came down.
You want to try it again and see how you do this time?
Yeah.
All right.
I want to do it real loud.
All right, sing it. Just let's see how you can sing it this time. That was only when you were 2 years old. Now you're 3 years old. We're recording this on the 6th of December, 1967.
Keen. Keen.
All right, let's go.
Keen. He has keen.
Yeah, his favorite expressions are neat, keen.
I'm 3.
You're 3 now. All right, I think Kevin's going to sing along with you, and you're going to try Heaven Came Down again. Okay. Okay.
Heaven came down and glory filled my soul. When at the cross the Savior made me whole, my sins were washed away, and my night was turned to day. Heaven came down and glory filled my soul.
Now the next one in line is Stanley. He's the cowboy. How old are you now, Stanley?
8.
8 years old. And tell us about this cowboy stuff. Can you tell us anything about being a cowboy, what it's like?
Well, I like to dress up like a cowboy, and that's the first thing I put on when I get home.
He dresses like a cowboy every day. I guess you've seen some of the pictures of him in his cowboy outfit, and no matter what he puts on, why, he gets a bandana on and he looks like a cowboy. And he has these rubber boots that are kind of like cowboy boots, and he's a real cowboy. And you've been practicing with a lariat, haven't you? Trying to throw a lariat to get the rope over, you know, so you could rope the steers. What?
Post.
Oh, around a post. You've been doing that. Well, anything else you want to say about being a cowboy? Did you have a question you wanted to ask Stanley?
Grandma Engle, do you have a horse at your farm?
Well, he told me when we were going to make this tape recording and he wanted to ask this question, and this is the one he wanted to ask, whether you have a horse or pony there. Now let's find out about Brent. What grade are you in now?
3rd.
And what's your teacher's name?
Miss Hatfield.
Miss Hatfield. Where is she from?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. What subject do you like best?
Art.
Art. And what do you like least? What don't you like so well? What subject? You think of any subject that you don't like so well?
Math.
Math, yeah. Okay. How do you like gym? Okay.
Well, sometimes the gym teacher gets mad.
Sometimes the gym teacher gets mad. Can you tell us anything more about Brent's school? Can you describe it a little bit for us? How many buildings are there at Brent? Do you know? What building do you have your class in? Do you know what building that is? No. Well, I know they have an administration building, and there's dormitories there. Boys' dorm, Ogilvy Hall, and there's Hamilton Hall. Oh, the canteen, yeah, remember that. Then there's the new building. What rooms are in the new building? Let's see, there's the library and the assembly hall, and I think they have kind of a chemistry room in there. That's the new building. Well, maybe that's enough for Brent School. What about Sunday school? What's your Sunday school teacher's name?
Mrs. Shaw.
Mrs. Shaw, and you attend also up at John Hay Sunday School. Now, what about your verse? You were going to say a verse, weren't you? Okay.
John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Okay.
John 3:16.
Thank you, Stanley. Stanley, who's your best friend?
His name is Dusty Hess. Sometimes we call him Dustin. Sometimes I go to his house, and sometimes he comes to our house.
Dustin stays here in Baguio with his mother, but I think his dad works for the government over in Vietnam or Thailand, someplace over there. And Dusty's your best friend. Well, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye.
Okay. The next one is my recording helper, Kevin. When I'm doing my recordings, some of my broadcasts I do here at home, why, Kevin is my helper, and he's learned to operate the tape recorder, and he's really been a great help. He seems to be kind of mechanically minded. Well, he's right here now. Kevin, I wonder what you want to tell us about.
Well, I got a verse I want to say.
All right, what's the verse you're going to say?
Romans 8:1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Uncle Kevin taught me this at Abilene Chapel in the class.
Well, you remembered that quite a while then, if Uncle Kevin taught that to you. Now, let's see. We've been talking about Brent. What's your favorite subject at school?
Recess and lunch.
Oh, you like to eat too. You're like somebody else I talked to here. And what's your hardest subject?
Geography, maybe.
Geography.
Or social studies.
Say, tell me about these demerits. Can you tell me what they mean? I hear they have demerits at Brent.
Well, if you get a demerit, you've done something naughty, and then they'll give you a demerit. And for that demerit, you have to maybe run errands around the school or carry firewood.
I notice on the handbook that they have a picture of a boy carrying wood on the outside. So I guess that carrying wood is one of the favorite ways to work off a demerit. Has Brent School had any famous students?
Well, one of them is John Eisenhower. John Eisenhower, for the new building, was the first one to send in money for the new building.
Boy, we just can't get away from Eisenhowers, can we? We go to Abilene and we hear about him, and we get over here to Baguio and they find out, they made an announcement the other day about John Eisenhower sending the first gift for this building. Who's your Sunday school teacher, Kevin?
Mrs. Keller.
Do you remember about your Sunday school lesson, what it was last Sunday?
Last Sunday, it was about the woman and how Elijah came to the woman and asked for her last loaf of bread. And she obeyed, and then when she looked in the pot again, it was full of oil.
I see. She fixed him this food, and the oil didn't run out. Well, we haven't rehearsed this, so I wasn't sure if you'd remember what your Sunday school lesson was or not. Say, Kevin helps me on Sunday afternoons with the Children's Bible Hour. Tell them what you did the other Sunday for me. We went down to the radio station. What's the name of our station?
DZBS.
DZBS. And just tell us some of the things you do down there at the station.
Well, last week I gave the announcement. This is sort of the way it went. Write to Aunt Bertha, DZBS, Baguio City. Here it is again, boys and girls. Aunt Bertha, DZBS, Baguio City. That's an example of how I did it. And lots of the Sundays, my dad asked me to choose the tapes to put on for the present Sunday.
He knows the programs real well, and so we talk it over together. He knows the stories probably better than anybody else around here, and so we select these stories quite carefully, and he helps me in the selection. Aunt Bertha is the one who directs the program in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They send the tape out to us, and then instead of using their address, they have asked us to use our address here, so the boys and girls write to us in Baguio City, and Kevin is my announcer helper, too, on that. Well, now, Kevin, who's your best friend at school?
Well, in Manila, I had a friend. He went back to the States last May. His name is Kenneth Weens. He went back to San Jose, California. His father was the principal of the school. He's a real nice man. Also, he helped me. He helped us children, us and some other neighbors, on the marionettes. You know what marionettes are? Well, we had a show. We didn't charge anything, but it was about a half hour. We had about 2 programs one day, but we only had one day that we did all of it. But once in a while, the marionettes would get in a terrible tangle, so we'd have to ask, like, supposing I'd ask Becky to fix my marionette. So sometimes she couldn't do it, so I had to do it. But since we've moved up here to Baguio, the puppets, marionettes, are very, very mixed up.
Now, we threw them in one of the drums, and they're all twisted. The lines, the strings that go to them are all twisted. We've got to get them untwisted. Maybe we'll just have to cut them off and start all over again. But at least we have the marionettes, and we're thinking of using those on our children's Bible hour that we have on Saturday mornings.
Stanley was the announcer to the puppet shows, to the marionette shows. He had a puppet with a vest that my mother worked hours on. They did the clothing. My mother did the clothing. She worked very hard on it. The rest of the people had clothing also.
Stanley says he was not the announcer. He was the MC. That's what he was called. Okay, then. Well, you want to say goodbye to them now?
Goodbye. See you later.
Next is a girl here in a maroon sweatshirt with big letters B-R-E-N-T across them in gray letters. It looks like she's just come from gym. What's your name?
Karen.
Did you have gym today?
Yeah.
Well, how's school going?
Oh, it's okay.
You're preparing a play. What's the name of the play?
A Christmas Carol.
When will you put it on?
December the 13th.
That's all about Scrooge, isn't it? What's the name of the character that you are in the play?
Belinda Cratchit.
And can you tell me what you say in the play?
Really, I just have one part. I say, "No, don't cry, Mother."
Boy, you got it memorized already. That's all you say in the play, huh?
Yeah.
Well, how about that? Well, can you tell us anything more about Brent? Anything else that you want to say? What's your teacher's name? Of course, you have several, don't you?
Yeah, I have plenty of them.
Plenty of teachers. Uh-huh. Well, let's talk about, I can kind of see you don't want to talk about school, so let's talk about home. We like home, don't we? And let's hear about your garden.
Well, in our garden, we've been trying to grow different things, and we've failed on a few of them, and some of them have been coming up. And over here, we can't eat raw lettuce, and so we're growing our own in our garden, and it's been coming up pretty well. We're growing different kinds of flowers, and we're growing broccoli, potatoes, corn, and lettuce. We planted radishes and carrots for the first batch, and the carrots didn't come up, and the radishes all came up pretty good, and we ate them all.
So the radishes were really the only successful crop you had. Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I have a bird. His name is Tweety. We've been trying to teach him to talk, but, well, he doesn't do so well.
This is a parakeet. Where did you get the parakeet?
Well, a friend of mine down in Manila left for the States and gave it to me.
We mentioned before that we have a children's club on Saturday afternoons. Or no, it used to be Saturday afternoon. It's now Saturday morning. Karen helps with that children's class. Do you want to tell us something about it, Karen?
Well, first we sing songs. We've been teaching the children songs in the language and in English. And then afterwards, we've been having memory verses, and our girl Julie has been teaching them to them, and then they try to recite them if they can, and then we give them a little bookmark or some kind of a prize. We've been having Daddy tell stories, and sometimes he does tricks and different things for them. And
these children started coming right away after we moved here. There's quite a sheer hillside right on the other side of the road up to us, and these children carved out little steps and came down the steps and gathered around our house, and so that's the way we got the idea for having this class. Well, Karen, is there anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Okay, you want to say goodbye to them then?
Okay, goodbye.
Well, looks like we have one more here. What's your name?
Becky.
What grade are you in this year?
I'm in the 8th.
What are some of the subjects that you take this year?
Well, we're starting to take sort of like an introduction to algebra, and we have geography and English, Latin, and science.
Which is your favorite subject?
Well, I guess I like Latin the best.
Latin, boy. Well, now, let's see. You've been studying Shakespeare lately. I know that. I've been seeing you carry around The Merchant of Venice for so long, and I think they put on a little play the other day. Can you say some part from Shakespeare?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven under the place beneath. This is part of the speech from Portia in that play.
And that's the part you had, isn't it? in the play.
Yeah.
Portia. Well, now how about pets? You want to tell us anything about your pets?
Well, before we had one mother cat and two they were half-grown cats, and then the mother had 5 kittens, so we had 8 cats. And well, we slowly got rid of all of them one way or another. Now we only have 3 cats.
Well, one way or another. The LaValleys asked for 2 of them, and we sent 2 of them down to Manila, didn't we?
Yeah.
And one of them died, and then Julie took one of them. The girl, our helper, took one of them home, so that left us 1.
Yeah.
Can you describe this one that we have left?
Well, the one kitten that we have left is sort of like a gray kitten, and it has blue eyes and has little, sort of like light black stripes on it, you know.
Tell about some of the catches that these cats have made lately.
Well, in about 2 nights, they've caught about 3 rats and 2 snakes.
2 rats and 3 snakes, or 3 rats and 2 snakes?
3 rats and 2 snakes.
3 rats and 2 snakes. Boy, that's a pretty good record, isn't it? Becky also listens to the Children's Bible Hour and records for me all of the songs, writes them out for me, and then that also helps me in knowing what's on the program. It helps in selecting which tape to use first. We had about 24 tapes to choose from, and we wanted to use them in the right order. She also helps me in the office some, doing some secretarial work. Becky, who's your Sunday school teacher?
We have Mrs. White.
Can you remember what your Sunday school lesson was last Sunday? I asked Kevin this question, and he came up with an answer. What about you? You remember? Think hard.
Well, I guess it was about, in Exodus when the children of Israel were going through the Red Sea and the way they escaped out of Egypt. And she taught us that, that Exodus means the going out, I think it means. Or I think that's exit or something.
Going out, yes. In the morning we go up to John Hay, to the Army Chapel there. And then in the evening we attend the Baptist church near here. Last Sunday evening I showed the pictures of the brigade work. We're trying to get the folks there interested in starting a boys' brigade. And they seem to be very interested. And also some other folks came up and asked questions. Some people that were there from some of the other islands. So we hope that they'll also start brigade work. Becky, how's the violin coming?
Well, it hasn't been going so well for the last few months because I don't have a teacher yet.
She doesn't have a teacher here in Baguio. She had such a good teacher in Manila, but we haven't really located a teacher for her here. So she doesn't do so much practicing on the violin.
Hi, guess who this is? I wasn't going to say a word. I told Ken there was no need for me to talk when so many other people were around to do it. A few years back, when just Ken and I were here and we'd be making a tape for home, we had to talk and quiz each other, but as you've all heard, there's so many in our family now they carry on pretty well. We have to kind of cut them off.
Well, now I'll step back into my role as Master of Ceremonies. What did you do today, honey?
Well, let's see. I mixed up 24 cups of flour to make a few loaves of bread to feed this family. Usually it's 30 cups, but this happened to be the whole wheat bread. It really goes fast, I'll tell you.
Now, I shouldn't ask this question, but how do you feel about my making a trip to Manila tomorrow?
Well, being as you've been around here 2 whole months and we're all getting kind of tired of each other and there's no typhoons coming, I guess we'll let you go.
This is the 6th of December, so on December 7th I'm making my trip down to Manila. We have about 70 programs to record. Of course, most of them are these moments of melody, which are only 5 minutes in length. In fact, if you turn this tape over, you can hear some of those that I recorded last time just before the typhoon. We're very conscious that we're not far from Vietnam. In fact, we had a little invasion ourselves just the other evening.
We had a phone call asking if we'd like to have about 35 sailors in our living room that evening for a little social time. They were having a conference up at John Hay. So we said, sure, come on over. So one of the other missionaries baked up some cakes real fast, and I set the table and got out all the silver and the glasses that we had. And there were, counting the missionaries that were here with the servicemen, I suppose there were close to 50. Then the week after Thanksgiving, Ken was responsible for planning a conference for about 25 sailors from another ship, the USS Canberra, which is a heavy cruiser that patrols the coast of North Vietnam. So on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, he went to meet them, and only 9 had come. But we were glad, because with a fewer number, a conference could mean a lot more, we thought. And so, we had conference Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, and it ended Friday morning. The Thursday evening, we had all of them here for a buffet supper, and they really enjoyed this. They seemed to be relaxed and enjoy themselves and be glad to get into a home and around the fireplace. And there was a real good response to the meetings. No decisions that we know of were made, but it did seem as though each one gained much from having come to the conference.
It was an unexpected privilege to have the servicemen with us. We got the long-distance call from the chaplain, and we were glad to work with them. And we just ask you to pray that if the Lord gives us further opportunities with servicemen, that He'll help us to know just how to work with them. Mary Lou's music is a great help in that. She plays the organ there at the chapel when we have our services, and then the piano here. Well, this has been quite a year. 1967. It's had a real turning point in it. Early in the year, we celebrated the 15th anniversary of the brigade work, and Rudy is carrying on the brigade work now. He has prepared some of the materials for the boys, the manual, the leadership program, the blueprint to help start new groups, and so he's doing quite a job in that regard. In Binangonan, they have the brigade group for the boys 11 to 18, and then this summer they started the stockade or bastion group for the younger boys 8 to 11. Even though we weren't there, they went right ahead with it. Elino Aragon, who is the captain, led out in that work, and he has a number of other fellows helping him, so they're working with the younger boys, and that's really one of the bright spots in Binangonan is this boys' work. They are reaching new boys, and boys are being saved, and the work is going along fine. In the typhoon, the basketball goal was knocked down, and also the front of the chapel. I haven't seen it yet. I'll be going down tomorrow, and we'll see some of the damage. The girls continue to teach the Sunday school classes and children's classes out there in Binangonan, and the outreach to Tai continues. They have the children's class and do some visitation and tract work. However, since our move, it seems like that the work has gone rather slowly there in Tai. Tai is about a 10-minute drive from Binangonan back toward Manila, and is a very promising town with real possibilities. And Mr. Tiki, the carpenter, is quite burdened about the town. His brother lives there, and other relatives, and we're just praying that we might really be able to begin a work. He's already put up a basketball goal there. He's interested in helping the boys, and so we have a beginning in that direction. In our move to Baguio, then, the Lord has given us the opportunities with the radio. We have the half-hour radio program on Sunday afternoons, Children's Bible Hour, that we assist with. We have gotten quite a number of letters. Then every morning at 6 o'clock, the Moments of Melody comes on. It's every day, and they release that program here in Baguio, and also over DZFE in Manila, and over 2 shortwave stations. So we're thankful for the outreach of this broadcast. We continue the Living Gospels program. We make those up each time we're down. Those are 15-minute programs that go out on Sundays. And we just read from the Living Gospels without comment, and there's 1 musical number in each program. We've had a number of science film showings since we've been here. showing the Moody Science films. We've invited our neighbors. Dr. De La Rosa came out one night with his family. And we've had some good discussions after those evenings here in the home. Also, we had a group of students in one time from the University of the Philippines. They saw the film, and we had a little time with them. My voice is giving out, and I still have to pack the car and a number of other things tonight. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. I see there's still some tape on here. We don't like to send any empty tape to you, but I guess we're going to have to this time. We thank the Lord for the way He's led this year, and the way that May morning, as we were preparing to go back to Manila, and we drove into this home to visit some friends, and then Dr. De La Rosa came, told us about the house. He didn't know we were looking for a house. We didn't know he had a house. But here it was, just what we needed. In fact, almost more than we need. We really have more room than we've ever had. But this has been valuable in the servicemen's work and in having the folks in to see films and in various ways. Also, some of the missionaries have come up and stayed here in this. I'm recording from here in the basement, and we've put some plywood on some of the walls down here, and there's a couple of beds, and some of the missionaries have stayed here. Also, Rudy came up one time and stayed as we prepared to talk about the brigade work to some of the folks. Well, I'm really going to have to say goodbye now. My voice is getting weaker all the time. I have to stop every once in a while and erase a little bit of it because my voice goes completely. I hope I'll be able to record when I get down there. We'd like to leave this verse with you, Deuteronomy 31:6. For the new year, the verse that's meant so much through years that have passed. Be strong and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, He it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In the past, He's not failed. We know He won't fail in the future. We enjoy your letters. We just thank the Lord for each one of you. And we pray that the Lord will bless you richly in 1968. Well, we always have to add a P.S. I noticed that I've already recorded this Moments of Melody on the other track here going this direction. So you won't have anything maybe on the back. If I get time tonight, I'll put some more on the back too. But most of it is on this other track. I'm recording now on track 1, and so you put it up to track 2 and spin it back to the beginning, and you'll have the Moments of Melody.